Welcome back. In today's video, we're adding a new square to our Patchwork Blanket Project, our ongoing journey to create a unique handmade blanket one square at a time. Today's square features the fancy moss rib stitch pattern, and we'll be casting on multiples of 6 plus 4. Now you'll see that I have written up there that there is also a +2. That is if you want to have a border on the side of your work. So for this video, I do have a border on the side as we are going along, and I'll explain that a little bit more further into the video. If you're interested in the Patchwork Blanket Project, whether you're following along with the crochet or knitting, each square is a building block, and once we have enough, we'll stitch them together into a one-of-a-kind piece. Remember, symmetry isn't necessary, but consistency is key. That means using the same size hook or needle and a medium weight yarn of your choosing. You'll also need to cast on a consistent amount every project. So normally I do 30 cast-ons for this, but since this is a 6 plus 4 plus 2, it'll end up being 36 that I end up casting on my needle, and that is alright because like I said, symmetry is not necessary for this project to turn out amazing. Now that we have all of our stitches cast on, let's go ahead and jump into the pattern. Now for this pattern, I did say I am doing a border with this, but I have them in special quotations up at the top that if you don't want to have borders, you can omit the +2 and just go for casting on 6 plus 4. But for this video, I do have the side pattern, the side border, so we're going to do that as part of this project. So to start off, you are going to knit 1, and that is the border. Then you are going to go into the pattern repeat, which is going to be purling 5 and knitting 1. You will repeat this until you get to your very last 5 stitches. For those 5 stitches, you are going to purl 4, and then you're going to finish off by knitting 1, and that is going to be your border stitch. So again, if you're going to follow along with having a border on each side, you are going to start off by knitting 1 and then doing the repeat of purling 5 and then knitting 1. You repeat that until the very last 5 stitches, and then you purl 4 and knit 1 to finish off that border with that knit. Now if you don't want to have a border, you would just follow the purling 5, knit 1 until you get to the last 4 stitches, and then you just purl 4. But again, we are going to be doing the border on the sides because I think it looks smoother, and I really do not enjoy starting a knitting project with a purl like this when you're just doing rows. It just doesn't feel right. I don't know, maybe that's just me. So here we are coming up to our last bit of stitches where you are going to purl 4 and then you are going to finish off by knitting 1, and again that finishes that border and just gives it a nice clean edge. Now that that's done, let's go ahead and go into row 2. It's going to take a while for the pattern to really kind of start showing, but you just need to trust the process. So for row 2, again, we are doing that border on the side. You're going to start off by knitting 1 for that border. Then you are going to knit 4. And then you're going to jump into the repeat, which is going to be a knit 1, a purl 1, and then you're going to knit 4, and you're going to repeat that all the way until the very last stitch, and then you're going to finish off with a knit. So again, having those borders on the side, you're going to knit 1, that counts as your border, and then you're going to knit 4, can't even speak. You are going to knit 4, and then go into the repeat of knit 1, purl 1, knit 4, and you are going to repeat that until the very last stitch, and then you'll finish off with a knit because that is the border. So again, if you are doing this without the knit border on the sides, you would start off by knitting 4 and then going to the repeat of knit 1, purl 1, knit 4 until the end of the row. Now in order for you to get a perfect size for this project, or if you want to just continue on, it's really easy. You just have to repeat rows 1 and 2. Pretty straightforward, nothing super fancy or super time consuming that you have to go through. But again, in order to start seeing the fanciness of this moss rib stitch, you have to get a couple rows in before you really start seeing what it looks like. So let's jump to the end of the video and see how it all turns out. Now, as you can see, this is all really starting to come together and it's starting to look really fantastic. So this was the last row I needed for my patchwork blanket project. Since I had cast it on 36, this is row 36 for me. So let me go ahead and bind that off and reveal what it looks like. Ta-da! Isn't this great? This honestly looks so fun. You got the ribs on the front, and then if you flip it around to the reverse side, you kind of have little divot valleys, which is really fun. This is really stretchy too. So this might be really good for like maybe a sweater or something like that, or a pullover. Depends what you want to use it for, but we're using it for a square for our blanket. But there you have it, how to knit the fancy moss rib stitch pattern. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and you end up making this square for yourself, or you end up doing it in a project. Let me know down in the comments what type of project you would use this type of stitch for. Thank you so much for joining me today for this project, and I will see you all in the next crafting video. Have a fabulous day. Bye for now.